he was part of the TV crew there that, Mickey Gray started at Channel 39 in Dallas. For years, the world-class television in Dallas was on KTVT Channel 11 from Fort Worth on Saturday nights. It was a 2-hour program, 10 to midnight. Most of the time, higher viewership than Saturday Night Live. And it was shot from the
Hey, Sonia, what's going on? Hope you guys are taking it easy, driving safe out there. All right. For some reason, you're not coming in on my chat on the tablet. Then I do it again. You're not coming in again on this one. Very. Oh, all right, great. Just got home. Wonderful. Safe and sound. Good deal. Good deal. All right, what am I going to do today? Well, I think, as you can see, I'll start off with the black and white, and we'll do a somewhat complete scene with it. This is probably 12 by 16 when I fold it in half and glue it. Watercolor paper, because it's just something I'm going to do an example with. I did something different. I just used my apple barrel white paint as gesso, and I painted the whole thing. Now, if you use the watercolor paper, like I said, I took the watercolor paper sheet, folded it, spray glued it, folded, and everything. Once you put the paint on this, it's gonna ripple. It's gonna, because it's being taped, right? So it's gonna pull, stretch, ripple, bow out. But when it's completely dry, it's flat as a board again. So if you do something like that with watercolor paper and you put paint on it or something, it will ripple, it will bow, it will do all sorts of crazy things. But you have to leave it alone, let it fully dry, and it's flat. All right, so there is a layer of paint on this already. Okay, so I just want to let you know what I did to prepare this. All right. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Billy? Hey, what's going on, Passion for Art? Jessica, good to see you guys. For those of you who are driving, just be safe, be careful out there on the road. So, once again, this is 12 by 16 inch watercolor paper, which is actually 24 by 16. I just actually it's 24 by 16. I just folded it in half. Okay. But it is 140 pound watercolor paper. All right, and I glued it. Keep it shut. Put a layer of craft paint over it. You can use craft paint of any color, but when it's taped and you paint it, it's gonna pull and bow and stretch. Then it comes back to normal. Okay, so that's what I did there. I don't think I'm going to use any glycerin or anything. Once again, it'd be one of these water paintings. Okay, I'm going to do a gray tone, sort of kind of gray tone painting, let it fully dry, then I'll probably coat it with yellow. All right, so, and show you what that looks like, because I've done paintings like this, but I did darker colors. Let's see what happens when I use a lighter color. All right, I got camera number right there, camera number 3 on. All right, this is 1, that one's 2, and that one's 3. All right, so we're gonna get right to it. Now, when you put a layer of paint on paper, obviously it's not going to be as porous because you got that layer of paint on there. All right, so keep that in mind. And once again, if you do this and you don't have any painting medium like I usually have, if you use water, all right, the water it's going to stay on there for a little while because there's nothing for it to really sink into it have to evaporate off. All right. Okay. So let's actually, now since I'm going to put clouds in here, the clouds they gotta be particularly light because of the other color I'm going to put on it. All right. Okie dokie. And I am going to put yellow on it. Yellow is very thin color, very translucent color. So the gray tones I'm going to use have to be particularly on the light side. Okay. All right. I'm going to use a softer fan brush. You know, this is somewhat softer. It'll do. So when I mix the gray tone, hey Maria, how are you? Good to see you, Madonna. Greetings. Now, I think Maria done said something in, yeah, she done said something in Spanish and caught herself. I think she said hola, hola, and then she got rid of it. They would have caught the gist. Now I'll put the water on it first. No biggie. The cloud will go down as far as I particularly want. It doesn't really matter. Once again, this water's gonna pretty much just sit on top of this. Now my room is fairly warm. It's at 91 degrees, so this stuff will evaporate quickly. So I'm gonna really put the water on here. I'll probably be doing this quite often because once again, the water is going to sit on top of the paint. Okay. All right, that should be that should be okay. Somewhere like that. Let's get a little bit of white. We'll just drag the white out there. And a little touch of black. And we'll play around with this first. Let's see. See, it's starting to evaporate now. Once again, there's no medium, so I gotta kind of work this. The approach is different when you don't have any, when you don't use medium, but you still want that flowing stuff for the clouds. Okay, and we'll kind of play around in this like this. I'll take. You gotta kind of be a little on the quick side with it because of the water. The water will evaporate on you rather quickly unless you really put it in there. But what it's doing right now is pretty much what I wanted to do. Just blend it in there and blend in different tones. All right, now because we're using acrylic paint and water, it's going to dry ridiculously fast. All right, you might want to keep that in mind. Okay, I'm pulling out a little bit of white. The black that I'm pulling out, very sparse, because once again I want it pretty light because we're gonna saturate this with yellow. And I can tell when I don't use enough water. Yeah, that should be all right right there. And we're gonna come out and kind of play around with some of this like that. Take it, wrong one. And you kind of play around, stir it around, those circular movements. Some of it I'll really press and put it out there, some I will not. Okay. I'm gonna bring some of this downward. So as I do it in this fashion, you know, I'll slowly start bringing it down more and more like that. And we're gonna come on around in here and play around with it all up in here, play it, just mess it around there. Okay. Take it, stir it around. You see different tones of gray happening.
Special Wrestling. This first one sent recording drive here at gmail.com from Elijah in Pennsylvania.
I know it looks a little wild, looks a little crazy. It's okay. It's all right. Let it look crazy. Some of that's a little damp, so I think I'm gonna take advantage of that right now with just some regular white. Where it's damp at, and I'll kind of pop it in there like this. All right, because it's a little bit lighter. Don't kill all of it. A little more white. I'll kind of pop some here in the corner, down in here a little bit. Just like that. Just kind of play around in there. Just like that. Just let it happen. It will all make sense shortly. And I am using titanium white. I can blend it with the fan brush also. Used to be called the fan blender a while back. And you can blend your clouds like this. Get the hair out of there. Okay, so we got a lot of action going on with that sky. If you're wondering what is this plastic, it's just the plastic over the board. Like I say, it looks strange for right now. Just getting a little more white. A lot more white. I'll put it behind the jar here. You guys probably only see a little touch of it over there. All right, go back to the fan brush. Nothing but pure white. Well, yeah. I took the, let's come on up here. Let's have a little fun up this way. And then I'll just take it and kind of wisp it around. Come out here, kind of wisp it and play with it a little bit. Now remember, our yellow is going to really show things with all of this, because gray is a forgiving color. It incorporates all sorts of things. Okay, and I'll take this brush and I'll smooth it out while I can. It got a short window of time to do that. All right, very short. More white paint. I'm gonna take it, just kind of build it up in here like that. Then we'll kind of nurse it and come on down here with it. Just kind of smash it around there like that. Fade out the bottom here. It's just me rubbing the paint into the previous color. I'll have it travel this way. All right. I'll just tap around some odd shapes there. And I'll just smooth that stuff out. Smooth it out real quick. Now this is just me working with water. That is it. Okay. All right. I think we'll work with that. I want to add something else before we do that. Right up around in here somewhere. All right, and just drag it down with it a little bit. Get a nice little rim of white and just travel it there. You only got a small window for this to, wow, while it's a little wet to kind of maneuver it around. You don't have much time because it's pretty much wet on dry. All right, okay, that's good. So if you want to play around with instant aerial perspective, instant depth, all right, this is one of the techniques you can do. All right, I show it just a very bunch of techniques, and maybe some of this will help you, maybe it won't. All right. But I decided today to just kind of ramble, talk, and just show you a different technique that you may Maria, I'm glad that she stopped in. Who is it I'm talking to? Is Passion for Art and Sonia. Okay, RVDJ. Listen, Maria, like Bruce, is another one of the students that I had for quite a while. And she, like Bruce, would visit a lot, ask a whole lot of questions, and apply the techniques and all of that stuff. And Maria had gotten to the point where she was doing book covers for people. Okay, so she started out just like you guys started out. All right. Yep, she was doing children's book covers. She did a few commissions and all of that good stuff. Let's get I'll use the 3/4 inch flat brush. We're gonna pop in we'll pop in obviously we'll pop in a mountain, but I don't want the mountain to be too bright. I'll try to keep it close to the same tone of this stuff in here. Okay, once again, we're gonna try for an atmospheric look, but little different. Little touch of black, a lot of white. This might work. It needs to be a little darker, just separated a little bit from the clouds, but not by much. I'll use some water to thin up the paint. This is a heavier body paint. All right. Okay. We'll kind of come up around here a little bit. Something like that. I'll bring it down a little bit. Kind of get a higher peak here. I need the I'll come way up here. I need a nice little dip in there. Something like that there. I'm gonna get a little more white. A little touch of black, we'll put it in there. I don't want it too dark, so add more white. Touch of water in there. Try to keep it the same tone. Something like that, and we'll bring it downward. Now, once I bring it down, I can lighten up the mountain as much as I want now. I pretty much got the gist of the mountain in there. I'm just bringing a lot of the mountain downward here. I can do for the mountain to be a touch lighter, and at this stage I can do that after I bring some of this. Let me fill it with color, lighten it a bit. A little bit of water in there. and bring it down to where I want it to be, more or less. This is still wet on dry, no medium. All right, and there's a reason why I wanted to dry. I wanted to dry rather quickly.
Also, here's another thing while I'm thinking about it. Starting a guy with already in the ring is another way of saying it. Here's the job, guy. If you're going to put somebody wrestle, if you're going to book someone to wrestle on a national
Have it come down a little bit more. I get, man, about this far is fine. It's all good. I want to lighten that a little bit. Not the hardest thing in the world to do, just add a lot of white to it. Get some water. I really want to lighten it. Hopefully I made enough to do that. We'll find out in a second or two. And I'm going over what I've previously done just to lighten the mountain. That's it. Whatever darker spots I have, I want to get rid of it. Okay. And just lighten it up a little bit. It's like that. See how quickly you can lighten up the mountain? Lighten it right up. I just don't need the mountain that dark.
instances where people who the crowd just decides we're going to get into, and that's what the people see that on TV, and next week when you're in the arena, they're going to do the same thing.
Looks like I'm going to need a little more white.
But that's usually when it's just kind of a fucking rib, and the fans will.
All right.
He's got something, so we'll see. But I think it would be a while.
I'll get some of this lighter color. No, I don't think I'm going to have enough. It's not like I can't mix anymore. Yeah, it's all right. Once again, it's just dry, wet on dry. Using water. I just want to lighten, physically just lighten the mountain a little bit. Okay. All right. Now, this I'm happy with. That I can deal with. Okay. All right. Yeah. Queen of the house sellers. I know you've been busy. Very busy. Taping everybody doing jigs when their house closes. Yeah, I see it. I see them. All right, we'll play around with a little bit of mountain shading and whatnot. Okay. Ugh. One of my sponges hit the floor. Yeah, it happens. Let's put the white paint where you guys at least can see it. There we go. So we still gonna be messing with the toned paint for a little bit. All right, let's get a little bit of white. We'll kind of put it right here. A little bit of black, we'll mix it. All right. The reason why I added the plastic here is just I don't feel like using all that cleaner just to clean it. All right, I think that I can deal with it to be a little bit lighter than that. Let's add some more white. The idea is really to have a light mountain, so we'll just get the spread it out there. The idea is really just to have some of the detail of the mountain just be a little bit lighter. All right, so I'll try this and see what happens. Very thin line of paint. Like I said, we'll just see what it looks like. See if I got it light enough or not. Because remember, yellow is going to be placed on top of this. So let's see. Let's see if it's light enough. No, it is not light enough. Add some more white and just a little bit of this gray. So it's more white than gray, a lot more. Once again, I'm going to have yellow cover a lot of this. So I need the tones to be a little subtle. As you can see, this is very light for gray. Okay, see, very light. That will work. Because you got to think of the color you're going to place on top of this neutral color. You got me? All right. All right. All right, let's try this. Well, that's a little better. I like that. That'll work. Okay. And we'll just kind of play around with it and coat it around like that. And stir it around, let it break, and do all sorts of crazy little things. Just like this. And just have fun with it. We'll come here. Go out that way with it. Oh. Let's try one here. And just kind of sneak it this way. Once again, this is wet on dry. So it's definitely going to break and give you all sorts of funny things going on with it and happening with it. And that's okay. Oh, let's come here. Give us a little loop there. Join those together, go upward with it. Take it, come on down. So once again, you got to think yellow is going to be placed here. So the lighter the stuff you got, the better. Now I'm a lefty, so it's kind of weird to try to put highlights on the, I should just use my right hand really. Now you would figure, why don't I use medium for this or water? Because it will blend and it will start to mesh in. Something I definitely don't want. That I don't want. It will start to spread it and blend itself. Nah, that's not the look I'm looking for a mountain. I gotta do it in a way and get my head out of the way. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty cool. But now you see how light I have to get it just to get that look. I kind of like that little gap in there, so let's join this together. Just like that. Kind of bring that downward. So you can get all sorts of things going on. Okay. So that's going to be pretty cool. Just looking at it just like that. All right. Okay. As I'm looking at it, all right, I guess we'll be all right with that. Somewhat. Okay. Let's take, we'll be all right with that. Let's take, we'll take a flat brush. We'll go with the 3/4. I want to kind of fade some of that out a little bit there, so we can get a little misty thing going on. We'll take this same color, use the flat of the brush, go down below all of that, down below here, and slowly kind of roll it into your clouds a little bit. Obviously it's not going to do the trick. It's not bright enough, not opaque enough, so we'll just use some white. Go down below, and basically I just want to cover up that, but we're going to, as I wear this paint away, we'll slowly bring some of that up into your mountain a little bit there. A little mist. Keep it in constant motion so it doesn't look like it doesn't look like a bunch of paint strokes in that. All right. You're gonna just keep it rolling, keep it moving. We're gonna get it a little heavier here. I need it to be, just to get rid of that bottom edge. Right up in there. So down below here, it's just me really just getting rid of that edge. And a bit of titanium white just to cover that up. Let it get solid there. Because we're gonna mist all of this up anyway. It's just me getting rid of that bottom edge. Now I could have taken some water and thinned it out and just made it disappear that way also. But there's a few ways you can do it, but it's okay. And another thing about doing it in this fashion that you got to be aware of is that once you put all the colors in here, it's going to pick up that white immediately. Okay, so you may want to let it dry a little bit so that opaque covering can truly cover it. All right. And then I don't necessarily have to use a flat brush for this. I can use a filbert or whatever. But it's just an example. Like I said, I got it on watercolor paper, so yeah, it's all right. Actually, well, let me just keep going. Keep it going there. Smooth some of that out. Blend it. It's a lot of blending. Essentially. Just a lot of blending. Have a little fun with it. I gotta watch where my head is on this and let it dry. Just let it dry. It's just water and paint, that is all. Clean your brush extremely well so it doesn't get up into the Hey Jen, how you doing? That's another magnificent artist, Jen, from down under. She's from Australia. And good Lord, why is she up this late? I think she's like 16 hours ahead. She's on the other side of Australia where my buddy is, Ian. So she's even further back. I think Ian is 12 hours. She's even more. I think she's 4 hours more toward the other side. Okay, so we've got our mountains, and it's, look at this, dry, because it's just acrylic paint and water. That's it. Okay, so it dries like that. That, and with my room being 91 degrees, probably helps a little bit too. So, you know. All right. Okay. Yep. This, you see all the wrinkles. This is just plastic. The plastic you get from unwrapping your paint panels or whatever. And I just took it and pulled it apart and just slapped it over here. Because when I'm done, I can just crinkle it up and throw it in the garbage. All right. Okay. So we've got this on the way. I could play around with some light beams, really, depending on which way I want to go with them, because the brightest spot is like over on this corner. It's not really in the center, so it would have to come either this way or go out that way, but it would probably make sense for beams to shoot that way, you know. Okay, all right, so we have our background and slash background. We're going to put a middle ground in here. Okay. All right. The middle ground will be an even darker gray. If you see me looking at the camera, but you see my eyes looking up above, it's because I got a 40-inch screen up here. And so I look at my work as I'm explaining it to you. All right. So everything. Hey, Miss Southern Belle, how are you? Sleeve Stacks, how you doing? Oh, here we go. Stop making converts, Sleeve Stacks. She was doing good. Sleeve Stacks is a pro at contaminating people to thinking pterodactyls could just fly around everywhere. All right. What was I mentioning here? Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lighter form of gray before we do any color to this. Now remember, all of this is going to be coated in yellow. All right. You can call this really in any color, but we're going to do yellow. Gray is a neutral color. Okay. When it's all said and done, if you guys try to do or would like to do something like this, people are going to wonder, how do you get that color? Really? All right. They're going to wonder how. And you know, you're really doing an underpainting before you put a wash of color on it. That's all you're doing, is putting a wash on top of this. Okay, and you can get all your values. Now usually I use a darker paint to do this. Now if I use a darker paint, what it's going to do is really show off the darker tones. If you use a brighter color, what is it going to show off? What is it going to exhibit? All your lighter tones. Okay. And you'll see all the different hues and values of the same color, nothing but black and white here. Okay, it's just tones of gray going through this. In water, I did the clouds, just paint and water. All right, you kind of got a short time limit to do that because acrylic paint dries so fast. All right, but you see what I did? I had one brush in one hand, other brush in the other hand. You do it, you swirl it around. Okay, because once again, you got a short time limit because water makes a horrible extender. Okay. All right. I know what I want to add here. All right, let me get my little bearings back. Let's get go back to the palette knife. Whatever I got left here, we'll just incorporate it. It doesn't really matter. We're going to put black in that, what's left of that gray. Of course, you're going to lighten it up a bit there. Now, I could Windex and scrape some of the extra stuff away so you can see exactly what I'm doing, because I know this looks horrible. So let me do something here. I'll just hold on to this. I'll scrape away some of that mess there. At least clear it away a little bit so you guys can see that I haven't totally lost my marbles. All right. I'll just clear clear some of this out of there. And I'll just wipe it away with a towel real quick. No big deal. I think I'll just scrape some of this crud away. It comes right off. As you can see, it clears right up, comes right off. Alrighty, just wipe away some of that mess. And let's put this back, just like that. A little more white. Still a darker tone of gray than the mountain. Because even now, at this stage, you still want the what's going to be a cliff face to be in front of this feller back here. All right, I, in theory, should have enough just to do a kind of a cliff thing going on back there. All right, in theory, I should have enough. We're about to find out. Like I said, in theory. A little bit of water in that. And we put it right in there. Get some water. This is thick paint. I can get away with this. All right, because it's still going to be, pretty thick. You can kind of manipulate it. Okay. All right. We'll start with the cliff face around in here. Like that. And you just bring it downward. Bring it downward. Bring it down as far as you feel you need to with it. Okay. Anybody can do this. This is, once again, it's just a play on tones. This is pretty dark. How is yellow going to show through this, right? But hold on. You got to add texture to this. So we can help all of that darkness out. We'll help it out a little. We'll bring it down a little bit. A little bit of water. You don't want your water to be, your paint to be too thin at this stage, because when it dries, it's gonna look very apparent that you use a lot of water for it. And paintings like this, once you get accustomed to it, they don't take very long to do. And it shouldn't. Every painting should tell a story. All right. Even if it's a warped one, it should still tell a story. A little bit of water. See the color shift when there's too much water in it, but it's not going to matter. But I'm just showing you here. All right, now I'm going to use a lot of water, and we're just going to go down to the bottom and just fill it in. One is because I don't want to keep looking at a blank white canvas down there, so I'll just use a lot of water. Once again, it's just paint right off the bristles, and we just fill it in a little bit, just like that. Just fill it in. It's all right. It dries quickly. All right, we'll use that there. Keep it like that. But look at what you have already. And though I'm messing around here, but look. Well, these guys are practically just about the same tone. All right. What's making it actually stand out is the white or the light gray. Okay, now we got this fella here. Now it looks like the mountain's miles back, and you got this guy like right in our face here. Okay, but I'm about to put him back a little bit too. All right, once again, it's all in the texture, in the coloring, even though we're using practically gray, really. All right, this guy back here will also be toned in yellow. Your colors are going to come from your front subjects. Okay, all right, so we're kind of building more or less atmospheric perspective. Okay, now if you want to get even in more depth with this, you could, I'll show you, instead of me saying you could, you should, you would, I'll just show you. How about that? It's not like you're going to get really too confused on how to mix the color when you only have two colors to mix anyway. Okay, filbert brush, in case you're wondering. Get a little bit of white. We'll go into this milky color anyway. How about that? We'll just go in reverse. We'll bring the white into this gray. How about that? Just like that. Okay, let's look over here. I want a little more mysteriousness out of this part of the mountain. Okay, I'll use the side of the brush. It's probably practically almost the same tone anyway, and we'll just kind of put some cloud work in there. It's like this. Look at this. Look, pop it in there. Now I can lighten that, of course, and I'm going to. We'll kind of let it roll in there a little bit. Get a little bit of white side of the brush. It's going to mix with the gray you have in here because it's not totally dry, so you can kind of have a little fun with it. Still keep it in its little smoky kind of form there. Now as you see me do this, you still see a little bit of that mountain in there, but you got a little bit of, just a little bit of cloud play happening in here. And sneaking around in there. And what you don't see will be highlighted by the yellow once it gets in there anyway. You got me? A little bit of pure titanium white, just a little bit. That's on the brush. A little, they see the little sliver of color. Okay, it's just really to put it in here to let you know that there is some clouds happening here. Just like that. Okay, that's cool. It could really do to be coming down a little bit lower in here somewhere. There. Put a little bit of body down in there. Just a little weight there, because you see the ridge here. But give it a little something in there. Let you know that it's coming down there, saying hello. All right. Okay, you want to maybe make it a little larger. You come up around here and kind of continue it up around here somewhere and just bring it down. Right, it doesn't have to be really obvious. You can kind of soften that edge a little bit. But you see, right in there. You see it there? Okay. All right. You following me? Hey Iris, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? Ernest EJ Walker, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. Let me scroll back. Yes, I do use Windex, but actually rubbing alcohol eats it better. I do use Windex. I do have Windex here, but the rubbing alcohol, it wears this stuff off excellent. It leaves your area smelling like somebody's hospital bed, but still it works. Okay, all right, let's get to these. Okay, this is a cliff, so it's got angles pretty much going straight down. All right. Okay, let's do something different-ish with that. I've already shown you how to do the mountains with the palette knife. This palette knife, okay. All right. We're gonna use this guy. It doesn't really matter if you got metal or plastic, one of these, but one, if you see this shape here, okay, awesome. All right, but that, you know, that's gonna kind of help you. Now the way I'm gonna pattern the rocks is kind of omnidirectional. You can go any which way, really. You're gonna, what I do here, when you do these and you see other painters do stuff like this, they're called incidentals. Okay, you kind of like you plan where to go with it, but what happens once you put it down, you don't even know, because I sure don't know. I just know where I'm going to put it. Incidentals. All right, you can place it there, but what happens after that, as you go down or whatever, or go across, it's really up to the brush. All right, or the palette knife. All right, this is thick paint. Even though its background is obviously much darker up here, which is cool. That's all right. But we're going to lighten things a little bit as far as the texture of the rocks themselves. Now, this variety of texture takes a bit of paint, a little bit more than what I'm showing right now, so I'm going to get more. Okay. Now, much more white. Probably use the rest of the white because I got to lighten it up quite a bit. And I'm just kind of putting it in there. It has to be a little bit lighter than this too. And you'll be amazed how much white you would need. Because remember, we're using a bright color to begin with, so it has to be, the scheme, the whole tonal scheme has to be a little lighter because I'm using a lighter color for your wash. And I don't even know if it's going to be much of a wash because yellow, once again, is extremely transparent. Extremely transparent. Okay, so I don't think I have to add much water to white. All right, and once again, I'm gonna keep mixing until I get a tone of gray that I like, that it will show pretty decently. All right. So once again, I got to think of the color I'm putting on top of this. I'm trying to remember, have I used just straight yellow before? Not yellow ochre, but just old bright cad yellow. I'm trying to think if I've done a painting like that. I don't believe I have. Not with such a bright background like that. Once again, I don't believe I have. I don't remember that I have. Okay. All right, that should be good. Now, watch how I do this. You guys might want to try this out. All right, now you take the brush, the palette knife. All right, you go into it and you're tapping like this. And when you tap, all right, you see that ridge? All right, the more you do it, the more of a ridge you're going to get. The reason why the ridge is kind of weak here is because it's pulling against this plastic. All right, but that's the only reason, but there's a ridge nonetheless there. Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate. Okay, cool. I got two southern folk. They done found each other and they're gonna be talking for a minute. Yep, Ernest is from Georgia. Georgia. I've known Ernest over 20 years, actually. He's a musician, music producer. My dog is like knocked out, snoring. Okay, watch what I do here. All I'm going to do really is a tap and drag. Okay, I keep looking up at the screen up here. More of a tap and drag thing, but we're going to go downward. All right, at least I'm going to attempt to keep it to go downward. There it is. If you guys can see it, I don't think you'll be able to. You might be able to see it a little bit there. You probably see it better here, but it is in there. All right, the texture that I'm looking for is there. But we're gonna go downward, and it's a tap. But as I tap and go straight downward, just like that. Just like that, okay? And as I do it, I think I'm gonna do the ones that kind of jut out. Just like that. But look at the type of texture you'll get by just doing that. And I'm gonna keep it going straight down. Get some more. Like I said, it does take quite a bit of paint to do it. I'm gonna come out here. Anything where it kind of just like that. Now you see the way I'm holding the palette knife. Okay, I don't necessarily have to hold the palette knife that way. Now it's gonna peel off, come off anyway because this is wet on dry. Okay, but I can hold it this way and do the same thing. You're gonna get a slightly wider pattern, but essentially the same thing. I'll show you here. I can hold it, this way instead of going vertical, horizontal. Try to line it up there. So whatever it makes you feel comfortable to do. I can scrape a little bit here and tap in some more love over on this side a little bit. Scrape a little bit off that. Come on down here. As long as you give a tap and a drag, all right, that's all it takes. And as you can see, as it dries, because it dries immediately, it gets a little darker. All right. So we're gonna have a little fun with the texture here because we're gonna go back over it. Once I get done with all of it, we're gonna go back and we're gonna lighten some of that up. And it's even easier to lighten it up. And I'm gonna show you how. A little bit of love here like that. Come on down, straight down. Bring some of that downward there. A nice little plateau right here. Tap, 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 tap. Now, I want to tell you, when I add this stuff, all right, you're already creating another layer, another textured layer. Of course, you don't see it because we don't have super microscopic eyes. But now, just that thin amount of paint, it's like you're still putting it on top of paper, okay? You follow me? It's obviously you don't see it, but you'll definitely know once you put the other layer on. And I'll show you how to do that in a few moments here. Horizontal here because we got a nice little plateau. Get your palette knife pretty even with the paper, and you just tap it and just go straight down. But now you see why I tend to utilize a lot of paint for this. It does take quite a bit of paint because you need that texture, those peaks to show on the brush or on the palette, on the palette knife. Yeah, there's no shame in his game. He's definitely from past the Mason-Dixon line, south. They have such unusual ways of talking and explaining things in general conversation. That's just how, and you know, being a person of a certain age, that's just how you talk. That's just the generation you grew up in, and certain outlooks on perspectives on certain happenings and issues and stuff like that. And all good. Okay, as I'm doing this, all right, I can see as it dries, you can barely see it, but that yellow will pick it up. Okay, but we're gonna lighten up. We're gonna lighten it up a little bit, throw some highlights in there, because it is tough for you guys to see that. Because I gotta think while I'm extruding, I also have to do it in a way that not only that you guys understand, but you guys have to see what I'm talking about. And if it's really too dark, depending if you're looking at me through a computer screen or a phone, you gotta at least see it. And if you can't, if I figured that you can't see it, it has to be lighter than what I would normally do it. All right, so I am gonna lighten this up a little bit, add the highlights, but check this out. What I've done for the get that out of there. What I've done for the initial texture, all right, I don't have to do it like that once I start highlighting, because we already got the texture on this already. Okay, so I could just take a little bit of the brighter stuff and really just go over what I've just done. Okay, it will grab what it wants, like it's doing now, and it will leave me the rest. Just what you see right now. Okay, and basically it's just me sliding right over what I just painted. It will take what it wants, just like so, and leave me the rest. Just like that. Instant highlight. And I'm doing it on the parts of the mountain where I know some of the brightness will come out at and aim for it and hit. And the key to it too also is to keep your palette knife kind of level. All right. Let's get a little joy right in there, spot right in there. Once again, the texture is already on there. You're just rubbing the knife across it. So the paint's doing really all the manual labor. I'm just the foreman. I tell the brush or the palette knife where to go, and it does all the heavy lifting, as you can see. Just like that. Okay. Let's take this same color. I'll kind of get it here. Put it right there. This is why this poor knife has been going through a lot. I put it through a lot. Okay. After I get done doing this and adding the fog to it, the mist, everything else is going to be in color. Well, I have to add the yellow wash after this. So, okay. Same concept. We got to get it darker than that. It's not, believe it or not. You have to add more black to it. It's not darker, because you got to put in now the dark recessed areas, and it's not, because remember the color that I'm using is yellow. So I have to think about contrast. We've talked about that in the past couple of videos. Contrast. All right. The dark and the light. Okay. Now remember, all this is going to be in yellow, bright yellow, including this. But now we have to think of contrast here. Okay. The yellow is going to pick up some of that, of course, but it'll show more with a darker contrast than this gray. I don't have to add too much to it. You're going to automatically know that it's the recessed area. Okay, and we'll go with the fun right now. We'll kind of tap all that love up in there, just like this, around this edge. Come on down in here. I hit my phone wire with this paint. It's annoying, but not that serious. Just annoying when I do that. And it's not really too difficult to add the recessed areas, especially if you're trying to really turn that around there, get some of that. But you see what I'm talking about. Okay, up in here. I'll kind of bring it out here like that a little bit. Bring this downward. Hello, Marilyn Lynch. How are you? Thank you. Good to see you. I'm going to add a little bit of white to this dark color because we got a curve in there. It's not as dark as that, but it's not as light as that. You got to keep playing with it to get that kind of in-between color in there. There we go. It's not as dark and as deep as that color, but it's not as bright as that one. So you got a little bit of a curve there. All right. Okay. Back to the other color. Right back to our fun. Don't try to color everything. I went up a little high, so I'm just going to mask that a little bit. Put some of that in there like that. Right on the side there. You don't paint every inch of this thing either. Yeah, try not to do that. Need to get some more. Let's go back into this color here. Believe it or not, I'm gonna have to mix some more. Ran right out, and it's good. It's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's cool. And I don't mind mixing a little bit more because after this, you know, you let it fully dry. It has to fully dry. You just you're going to add the yellow to it. So me mixing a bunch of darker color, it's not too bad. Get the rest of whatever left of black, put it right in there. That should be good. Yep. Right up on the side back there. We're gonna butt up and get some of that lighter area all up in here. And take some up there. We're just borrowing a few bits there. And this is wet on dry that I'm doing this with. It just takes a little bit of practice so you know kind of where you should be and where you shouldn't be when doing this. It takes a little practice just to get yourself comfortable with how far you can go with your palette knife. Like a nice chunk of it there. I'll just take some of that and borrow. Come on up here and add it. Take some over here and kind of bring it down, up around in here a little bit. Take some, put it up here, up around there. Let's take a little bit more. Oh, we add some love up in here a little bit more. That. Might need a little love up in here. Flip that knife around there. Put a few there. All right, just like so. Now, just have to add a little bit of mist in here. We'll come over here. That little bit of white. It's going to mix in with, it needs to be a little brighter. So I can probably just use the natural white itself. But we're going to use a different brush. We're going to use a essentially it's a little makeup brush I got from Walmart, but we're going to use this. All right. And we're going to add our mist. It's going to be brighter than this. Because remember, even though it's mist, and obviously mist is white, but it's going to be brighter. Because this is just really gray. All right. What you're going to see next is just pure titanium white. I'll take a little bit here on the bristles. Okay. I'm going to come down below here. Now remember, this is dry paint. So all this tapping I'm doing, I'm going to have to be kind of quick with it. Now as I'm in there, I'll start to kind of whisper out. And basically what I'm doing is wearing down some of that paint off the brush by going down below like that. Okay. In this circular motion, you kind of mess around with your hand pressure a little bit. Okay. So I got quite a bit on there, but I'm going down below. I'll keep doing it there until I wear off enough of this stuff. And then I'll just kind of very lightly, wide circles, narrow circles, whatever type of circles float your boat. It's like that. You see what's starting to happen. But as you do it, okay, you got to kind of match what you've got down below, so it's not too mismatch. It's just the intensity. You got to match the intensity of what you got down below there. But if you don't quite get it, fine. You can always go back over it again. But up top, you got enough paint off the brush to where you can get that misty look quite naturally, as you see me doing here. You can go high, real high, like that. Just kind of mess around with it a little bit. Because, you know, all that mist and stuff, it's not really super stationary. Okay. It goes around in unexpected waves. You know, you just never know. And because it's so bright, I can play around a little bit. Very lightly, very light, very light. Because it is brighter. But I'm going to have a little bit of this kind of go past this guy. Go past it. Let it brighten up, mist up a little bit, and just go past it. Just like that. And you're just creating another plane there. And you just keep building up right up in here. Block it right out. Okay, and just keep building. Now, because of that yellow that's going to be added into this, I got a little bit of that gray in there, but that's all right. It's going to be interesting to see fog on top of fog. As long as you got one layer brighter than the other, you'll be able to get away with it. Okay. I got to clean off my brush because I don't want gray. I want white. Get some titanium white up in this area here. Right up in here. See that? That's white. I'm going to keep rubbing away. That yellow will pick this up. Get a little, just get it a little brighter. Just like that. I'm coming, bring it on down a little bit. Right down in here. Expand that a little. Now remember, there's going to be stuff in front of this mist. This is not the extreme foreground. No way, nowhere near. I'm just coming in off the tape here. All up in here. I'm just coming really right off the tape. All in here. And very lightly, just play around with it there. Some of this you'll see, some of this you will not. But you paint right through like it is going to be the only thing you'll see. Okay. So you got all sorts of happenings going on here. Now it's just a waiting game. I have to wait for all of this to dry. Okay, that's cool. All right, enough of that. All right. Okay, no problem. I understand. Once again, waiting game. You have to wait for it to totally dry. So yeah, I'll tap it and I'll touch it and make sure. Once again, now yellow is extremely transparent. Yeah, very transparent color. I really don't need this, so I didn't even tape it. It just comes right off. Okie dokie. Alright. I ain't worried about my little bit of gray that escaped probably through a tear in the plastic. No big deal. Alright. Things are about to get a wee bit interesting, because I am going to use the yellow and a lot of it. Okay. Before I do that, because I told you I was going to do it. So let's do this. We'll get some tape here. I guess I'll put the I'll put it right here in this corner. You guys may not see it. Little spot right there. You're not going to see it, but anyway, that little corner. That's where our ray beam is going to be. Okay. All right. But watch what I'm going to do. Pull out the tape to the furthest point, furthest corner. That should be about right. Okay. You don't have to press very hard with this. Okay. Oh, right there at the corner. Now it depends on which way you want to go with with the glare. I'll start one here. It's no big deal. I just lightly put it there like that. All right. Okay, let's take a 1/2 inch. Technically, you don't need that much white, but you know, we're gonna use this cad yellow. It's a cad yellow hue, but yeah, we're gonna get a nice amount of that. Okay. Anyway, 1/2 inch brush. If you take the 1/2 inch brush, gonna pull it towards you, almost like a dry brush now. Pull it towards you because you're gonna utilize the side of the brush. Not as much paint as you think. It has to be kind of a light touch when you do something like this. All right. Okay. So the little glare is coming off of here. I don't necessarily have to start from here. Okay. Not necessarily. I can kind of start somewhere around here. Very, very light, extremely light, light, then go across. Boom. Very light, very light, and you press. Very light. I'm flipping the brush around. I'm doing it as light as I can. I want it enough to be seen, but not really necessarily overbearing with it. And the more you do this, the more layers end up coming up on this thing. All right. Just so you know. And how wide you want it at the bottom is really up to you. Okay, but I just wanted to be, I wanted to show enough so when the yellow goes over it, you know, it can be seen. Because once again, the yellow will pick up on this. All right. So once again, I don't have to go right here to its point. Very light. it will pick this stuff up. That should be enough. And be very careful peeling this tape off, especially if you got some soft points there. You see it tear? And it will do that. Just be careful. See, and I got little bits of tears, but it's not going to really matter. That's not going to matter either. All right. Let's see where else I can add this. Now, to prevent it from tearing like that, I remember I got a towel on my lap here. Get that out the way. And so I'll just take some of the stickiness off the tape by just rubbing it across the towel a few times. And that'll take away a lot of that stickiness, so you won't get little tears like that. Because that's just more or less annoying than anything else. But it can be corrected nonetheless. But I'm not worried about it. Okay, so we got one there. Let's kind of pop one. It's in that corner. We'll pop one here. Take your brush, side of the brush, almost like, once again, like dry brushing. So we'll have it come a little lower like this. Come out this way. You can do them at different lengths if you feel you need to. Different lengths. Different sizes, different heights, different points. Okay. Like so. But you see what's going on now. All right, you see how it's starting to look. It would be nice to have one come out of the fog. And somewhere around there. Like I say, you don't know if you're going to see every bit of this or not. You just don't know. Have it come out this way. I'll make this one a little larger. He kind of a little spread there like that. Now I can go out from that line, and you're just going to get a stronger ray beam line there. Okay. Oops. There, like that. Now it's starting to really tear, but that's okay. I can correct. What you see here, I can correct. So I'm not really bothered by all of that. I guess we'll keep it pretty much like that. Yeah, we'll keep it like that. I'll show you how to correct those. It's not difficult at all. Once again, it's just simple color matching. If you get something like that going on. All right. The paint is really sitting on top of the white paint that I previously put on. So that's what's going on there. It's not totally dry. So we get a little bit of black, get some white, and you just color match that as best you can anyway. So you look at it and you'll know if it's too light or too dark. Okay. Now remember, give it a chance, because you gotta wait for it to dry. I know I'm pretty spot on with this, so I don't have to worry much about what I got here. Now that's a little bit lighter. I'll take the paint that's already on my brush and just brighten it. And you wait for it to get darker. Remember, you have to wait for it to get darker. And most likely you might not even know that you did it. You can definitely put it up into the clouds and no one will know anything different. Trust me, they won't. They won't know. They won't have a clue, an inkling. If you got some darker spots, add a little black to it. I say no one will even know. All right, anyway, but there we go. Okay. And that's how you correct it. You just color match. And remember, if you think it's too light, you have to give it a few minutes. It will darken and you'll never know it was even there. Okay. All right. Let's wipe this stuff up. I don't need this anymore. I don't even need you. Get out of there. All right, for yellow, I don't need to add white. I don't need to add water. I don't need to add none of that. It's just pretty much a wide brush in the yellow paint. Because once again, yellow is extremely translucent. All right, what it's going to do is it's going to accentuate the high spots in this painting. All right, not necessarily the dark. Okay, everything should be more or less dry enough for me to put the yellow on. Now watch what happens to this whole painting once I put the yellow on there. Okay, and make sure your brush, whatever brush you got, make sure it's a pretty clean brush. If not, you will run into issues, especially with yellow. All right, once again, I don't have to really add water or whatever. Yellow is just yellow, that's yellow. Okay, because once again, yellow is extremely translucent color. And what it's going to do is highlight all that bright stuff. I'm going to need much more yellow than that, obviously. And I'll get it. Well, I'll just get some more. And remember, yellow, as bright as it is, it darkens. You follow me? The camera might act a little wonky with all this bright, but whatever. It's all right. This is one of the very few times I would use yellow right straight out of the tube like that for something so big. Well, I mean, a large area that big. I won't use water or anything. That won't be needed. Because even at this stage, I want the yellow to dry. So, but what I will do is be mindful of streaks. I don't want too many streaks. You see how much yellow I actually have to employ on this. But I want you to look at the painting. Look at what the yellow's doing, because it's such a bright color. All right. It's really emphasizing the brightness, not necessarily the darks. All right. It'll hit the medium tone and the bright stuff, but even the medium tone has to be a certain tone. Okay, it has to be a little bit on the brighter side. Now when it gets a little darker, you start seeing streaks. All right, you're gonna have to probably do the little extra deal and then go back across it. But you got a time frame for that too. So a little X strokes or whatever, and then go on across. It's amazing how much yellow you would actually use. I'm using the, fairly decent paint to do this. If I like the way it turns out, maybe I'll do another one of these on actual canvas. And this is just yellow, guys. Very bright. One of the brightest color on the spectrum, besides white. And even then, people would argue. But there it is. Look at that. See how simple that is. Gray is an extremely forgiving color. All right. The only thing that's white in this painting is the rays. And remember what I told you, if you put layers of white on mist, you'll start to see it. See that? Didn't I tell you that the yellow will pick up that white? It's the same concept with the sun rays. Same concept. See how it picks it up? A brighter color will pick up what hue, what tone is nearest its own natural tone. Okay, so obviously yellow will pick up all the bright stuff. Okay, all up in here, all over here, all in here. It picks up all the bright stuff. Okay, not so much the dark stuff. Dark stuff is pretty much stays dark, but it will accentuate the medium tone stuff. Okay, now if I done this in purple, all right, you're gonna have to lighten up the purple a little bit and water it down. Purple is not translucent. All right, now orange is another translucent color, and orange will give a different look to this painting. Okay, so but yeah, this is what it looks like. And now that I've shown you how to do that with the tones of gray and such, all right, whatever I choose to put now in front of all of this will be in pretty much in color, but the color I would use, it would be a different color palette, because it would have to be darker to accentuate, to bring out all of that yellow. You follow me? So it doesn't necessarily have to be pitch black. It can be a deep brown, deep green, whatever. Okay, but in order for this to look even more dynamic, you need something equally as dark. You follow me? No matter what your subject might be. Okay, but I said I was going to put something in front of all of this, and I am. I most certainly am. Matter of fact, let's go with a little bit of we'll put it right here. It doesn't matter if I put the brown on top of the yellow. The yellow's probably dry anyway. We use a little bit of Mars black. We'll put the black over here. So a little brown, a little Mars black. We're going to pull out the brown a little bit. Pull out the Mars black, pop it in there. Put that brown and that black there together. Mix it. Now you think that the black is overpowering that brown. Not so. Not like you think it is. It's dark, yes. Is it totally black? No. No, it's not. Not at all. All right, here we go. Just like that. I'm going to fill that right in. More brown, more black, more brown. Mix it right in there. Thank you, Madonna. Hey, Pittsburgh, how you doing, Mary? Yeah, I'm on my so-called atmospheric phase, I guess. Doing a lot of things with sun rays and color and what do you call it? I was just talking about it. It'll come back to me. I was just talking about it too, explaining them. It's very contrast. There you go. Explaining about contrast. That's it. All right. Once again, it's dark, but it's not black. Okay. And because I put this little peak above the mid-range there, all right, it brings this back a tad. All right. As in, I'm thinking about things as I'm doing this. All right. I might as well continue on. I'm going to get a little touch of water to thin this paint. How are things with you, Mary? Now I got water mixed in with this paint. That's okay. Believe it or not, you know the tree's here, but you're not going to see really too much of it, but you know one's here. And he's just, you know, he's just hanging out up there. Oh Lord, you got beat down. Yeah, we got our beat down last night. A little bit more came, a little bit more came in the morning, but yeah, we got slapped around pretty good. About 8 inches of it, and ironically, a plow did come, but of course it plowed everywhere else except, you know, I could have moved the trucks, but no. By the time I got both sets of keys and went out there, he was gone. I wish they would have called us to let us know he was coming. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do? All of this adds to your atmospheric perspective, okay? Yep, I got creepy tree, I got a leaf going backwards on us. He's not gonna really stay silhouetted. I'm gonna add some other stuff to him. But the majority of him is obviously dark. It has to be. But we'll add a few more things here. He won't just be just this dark stuff here. All right. I can use this little skinny tiny brush. It's all right. We use this because we're just gonna darken up some things here. I think the last few paintings I did, it involved water, so I decided to stay away from the water for a little while, just for a little while. Okay, let's add some texture or whatever to this here. Let's get a little bit of white and mix it right in with this color, just like that. It turns instantly gray. There it is. But it's not black and white gray, or it's got that brown in there, but it's still gray nonetheless. See this? Okay, I'm gonna use the side of this brush, just the side, and we'll start from up here. We'll kind of use the side of the brush, and we're gonna very lightly touch, go down. It just makes interesting little. See this? All these little nuances of tree bark and such. It's just rubbing the side of the brush. I'll flip the brush around. Get that gnarly tree thing going here. If the limbs are a little too small, obviously you don't have to add all of that. It's good to see you, Rob. And for those of you who may not know Rob is also from across the pond. Adding all sorts of little cute little highlighty things to the bark here, especially on the outside of the tree. As we go into that yellow, I'm adding more white to make him stand out like that. All right. And believe it or not, that works. All right. And actually, in a very odd way, it makes it even stand out even more. Okay. But we're not done yet. No, we're not. I'll probably do it like this. I'm wiping some of this away. And we're gonna very lightly, very lightly, we'll kind of put in some of that texture, rock texture in there. It's not white. It is, once again, various shades of gray, really. See, I'll just create a quick ledge there. Different ways to add texture to your rocks. I'm using the flat side of the brush. You know what? I'll scoop it over here. Get a little plane of something and then it just disappears right in there. Oh well, okay. I think Rob is, depending on where he is out there, I think he's about, as of right now, I think he's, are you 6 hours ahead of us now? Pure white. It's just to accentuate where I want the bright stuff to hit. Not necessarily everywhere, but you know. Not everywhere, but it definitely directs your eye to where that light source is coming from. All right. And because you got such a bright, obviously bright subject matter back there, really pop that white in spots. You don't have to have a lot of overkill. Yeah, I think you're 6 hours ahead of us. I'm using a script liner and I'm twirling the script liner around because there's certain bits I want to really accentuate, especially when it's directly in front of where the light rays are coming from. All right, like I said, I don't have to do everyone, but I will show the obvious. As a matter of fact, I'll peek some of that in there like that. Not all of it. Not all of it. That is freakingly weird. Okay. It's weird. Okay, there's a, because of the curve of the tree, the tape is here. So it's gonna look very not so cool. Crap. I'm gonna have to add that in there. Sometimes you run into this. Little alteration. It's just not going to look right. Actually, let's add them an interesting little stump thing right here. How about that, guys? As a matter of fact, let's have it here. Let's get some more of that black and brown. Let's give them something interesting, because if I got to alter it, let's alter it interestingly, right? It's another reason why I just stop and I stare at my painting. There's some things that sometimes if you're not paying attention, it will kind of sneak past you until it's a little too late. And I realize the curve goes into the tape, and once you peel the tape off, you know, you don't know if you got part of a tree, then the other one, you don't know. So, and we'll highlight it, of course. All right. I'm still looking. Now I'm curious. Arabella, how are you? Well, thank you very much. And welcome. Glad to have you with us. Unfortunately, I don't really, hold on, coffee break. You came in on the coffee break, wait a minute. You came in on a cold coffee break. Anyway, I don't usually tell anybody when I come on. Usually the later the better for me. This is, well, it's going on 6 o'clock. Yeah, well, it's a holiday here, and so you know I can come on a little bit earlier. But I'm liable to come on anytime. Hit that subscribe and that bell for any time, because that's exactly when I come on, anytime. Usually once a day. Usually, I might take a day off or whatever. It all depends. But I'm usually on some point of some time of the day. Usually, once again, the later the better. Okay. Yeah. But I'm exclusively more or less on YouTube, and there's a group in England. I'm on Home Artist Academy, where I do paid Zoom classes and all that fun stuff. So I just teach more of the same. All right. As I'm looking at it, let's add some things here. Okay, let's add let's have some fun, guys. Let's just add some stuff. I do like the creepy tree. Looks cool. It does. I like it. It's pretty cool. You know what? Screw this. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. If it fails, I'll just turn it into a cloud. No, I used a bigger brush for this. You guys have no clue, but you will. That's why I'm staying silent. He's a little bit bigger than a raven. Yeah, he's a little bigger than a raven. uglier too. No, it's not a raven. Actually, well, I mean, I put it there, so I guess I can tighten it up a little bit. I'll give him a prettier tail. A little more angular. There you go. She got it. Oh, scary buzzard. At least my version of one anyway. All right, right about there. A little lower there. All right. Let's see here. We're almost there. I still want a little bit of green in this. Maybe some deep green. How about that? Give me 1 second. I got plenty of black, so I might as well just utilize this yellow and this brown. So let's get a little bit of a yellow in there. Pour some yellow right here, a little touch of black, and we'll put that in there and get some deep green happening there, just like that. Okay. Yellow and black does make green, as you can see. Very deep green, olive green. All right. All right. Let's kind of put some little touch. Yeah, that's like that. Little touch of some stuff here. Around there, probably something dark up in here like this. Get interesting looking shapes contrasting against that yellow like that. All right, don't be afraid to do this stuff. It works. Let's put a little something way up in the foreground here, just like that. And we'll probably pop a little something over here, just like this, maybe on the rock itself. Remember, give some interesting little shapes there. Okay. All right. Especially on the top. Come over here, add some of that joy over here on this side. There's one hanging around back there somewhere. Let's get a little bit of white, just a little bit. Right on the top, and I mean just on the top. A couple of them here. Maybe it's hitting off some refracted light back there. Because it has to compete with that yellow back there. You follow me? Okay. So, you know, you throw a little bit of color in there, here and there. All right. Very interesting. All right. This is at the point in time in the painting where you have to know when to say stop. And at 2 hours and 13 minutes, it's time to say stop. Mainly what I did is a study on contrast and tones. Using whatever color you choose to use as a wash. This is the first time I used such just bright yellow. Okay, and it also shows you that gray, once again, is a very forgiving color. Gray accepts anybody. Gray, the color gray is everybody's friend. All right, and this shows it. Okay, about as yellow as you can get, really, without adding white to it. But just yellow. Okay, everything else behind this is covered in yellow. It's all gray, black and white, nothing special. Really. Yeah. That's really it. You know, the rocks are in their tones of gray. The only thing that's white is the direct highlights. Same thing with Mr. Buzzard here in the tree, just direct highlights. Everything else is somewhat kind of gray. This is that brownish stuff that we had. The black, it's black and brown mixed, which, believe it or not, softens that black so it's not as harsh. Okay, if you use just straight black, all right, it pretty much ends up looking like that Buzzard. Because that Buzzard is straight black. And if you look at the Buzzard and you look at the rocks, look at the Buzzard, look at the back of the tree, they're not the same color. All right. So, yeah. Yep. So you've got atmospheric perspective. You got a lesson on neutral color. I think I talked a little bit about a little bit of everything. I don't really put my signature on the right hand side, but yeah, will today. Got too much stuff happening over there in that corner. I have to put the date different too, but it's all good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I hope for those of you who are artists, you learn something from it. Hopefully I showed you something that you could use for yourself and for your own techniques. And really I just show a variety of techniques and what you can do with them. Like the tape for the sun rays. There's other ways to do the sun rays. The tape seems to be, for people who are starting out, it seems to be the one you can probably pretty much manage pretty good. This painting also has, I didn't use gesso, I just used craft paint, white craft paint. This is watercolor paper. And it's a large sheet of watercolor paper. I just took it, I spray glued it and put it together. All right, it was flat on the board. I taped it to the board. Now, when I use watercolor paper, okay, and that paint, or even if you do have gesso, all right, if you taped it to the board, what it's going to do is what watercolor paper does. When it dries, okay, it starts to pull and grab in all different directions because you taped it to the board. It's going to look warped and everything. Let it fully dry, because as it dries, not just the outside but the inside too, once it dries, it flattens right back out to nothing. Okay, it does. So let it dry all the way. Now I used water, no medium. I used water to do all the clouds. I didn't use any medium. It's just paint and water. That's it. That made this. All right. So there was no medium. There was no wet on wet painting or anything. It's pretty much wet on dry, traditional type of thing going on with it. And really that was it. The yellow applied to this gray picture is just really basically it was literally a wash of color, really. Okay, it's just I didn't add any water to the yellow because yellow is very translucent. It's very you can, as you can see right through it. No matter how many layers you put on this, you're gonna still see through it. Don't add white. Don't add titanium white. You wouldn't see nothing but the darkest shadows. All right, just use regular yellow. But any color color relays a mood. So whatever color you use, it'll give you that type of atmosphere. Okay, orange will give you another one. If you don't use yellow, then use orange. Orange will give you another sense of feeling. If you use bright red or alizarin crimson, that will give you yet another feeling. Colors like that are almost like colors of blood, yeah, that might be a little too creepy, but it's a mood. All right, if you use purple, everything's a mood. All right, we represent our moods with color. We associate our mood and what we're feeling or what we're thinking with color. Okay, so but this whole live was really just an example of that. Okay, so yeah, let's take the tape off. We can get rid. Let me clean this off, and we'll get rid of this. Now this painting. This painting is where are you guys? It's compacted. Okay, you'll see how wide it is once I get rid of that guy and get rid of that guy right there. So you're not really seeing the actual size of this thing. But I got to get rid of this mess here. I do use rubbing alcohol. I do have Windex, but the rubbing alcohol, as you can see, it eats it up, takes it right off. You know, no fuss, no muss. It just takes it right off. Yeah, I got a pretty healthy bucket filled with grossness. I finally grew a brain and got some tissue here. It's about time. Get this crap off of my poor palate. Just like that. I do have a bucket right across the way there. It's like, I don't even think it's a foot away from this pallet, the bucket itself. I used to let the paint sit on here for days. That's a bad habit to get into. So I had to break myself of that one quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I just got accustomed to just cleaning this thing when I'm done. And as you can see, once you clean it off, it looks like you never used it before, so it's all good. All right, clean as a bean. There you go. And ready for the next go round. All right, let's make that disappear. We'll put this on scene 4, and we'll say goodbye to that. Goodbye. All right, there we go. Now you see how wide it is actually. Okay, I tape my work. You don't necessarily have to. I do. All right. When I do peel off the tape, I should have showed you. I should have slowed it down and showed you. But acrylic paint, it develops a skin, a little film on it. Okay. Now I peel, I pull up, and I go this way. All right, so if you're doing it from the top, you still go up. You do it from the bottom, you pull and pull downward. All right, if you go inside and you peel this, if you get some paint and some paper and they're kind of meshed together, you're gonna get a tear about that long going through your painting. All right, that's just bad mojo. And that is, you see that pull? I don't know if you guys seen that. All right, but you see it? There it is. If you look close, see that? You see it pull? That's what's going to happen. Now imagine if I pulled and went that way. It just tore right through. Okay. All right. So be extremely careful. Which brings up something else interesting. When I did gesso or whatever, that is what would happen to me when you use tape. Okay, because the paint is sitting directly on top of just that other paint, so you're essentially just painting on liquid rubber. So once it dries, that's what you're going to get. Okay. So I pull and pull upward. Like so. All right. And that's how you do it, guys. Now, of course, if it was another scene, if I wanted to put, other trees in here or whatever, or grass or what have you, yeah, I could have done that also. Okay. But the way it looks and what you're seeing now, once again, it just gives you this atmospheric thing back here going on. So there's stuff happening. There's like movement happening in here, not necessarily here. All your actions here. Okay. But you have your rocks and your little flowers, your big buzzard and the branches or whatever, to give everything a sense of scale. You got me? All right. Oh no, that would be, hey, It Matters, how you doing? Good to see you. That is, Hoswina. Hoswina Pethus is from the Netherlands. Yeah, she paints. She is, I think she's 6 hours ahead of us also. Okay. So she's at it's probably 12:30 in the morning there where she is in the Netherlands. Thank you very much, it matters. Our Hearts with Arts. It has been pleasure meeting you. Appreciate you coming in. I will be on, oh gosh, whenever you see the notification on, that's where when I'm on. Okay. I'm looking at the chat here, because if somebody had a question, now hopefully I didn't miss the question. Oh, yep, you are from the Netherlands, all right. Yeah, it's going on 12:30 there for you guys. 12:30 Tuesday morning. But yeah, it's great to meet you. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have her Highland cow hanging on my wall. I'm the one that named it Bixby, and so Bixby is here in my house, hanging on the wall. I knew I was going to get Bixby, so nobody was going to buy Bixby. I bought Bixby. No one was going to get it, and I got Bixby. She has, what, 3 of mine? She has a few of mine, and I shipped over there. I enjoy this painting. You can still see everything. Everything's not like, I mean, it's very busy, but it's not like you can't tell what's what. All right, you know there's a mountain range there. You know, there's a little bit of the clouds going through the range. Okay. But you know that there's a cliff here. Okay. And then you got the rays coming from the back of the mountain there, doing this thing. All right. So you got all sorts of things happening. Like I say, I explained all of this and why all of it works. Okay. I've done other scenes like this, very similar with barns and woods and stuff like that, with a traditional grayish white background for true fog in the field and everything. I've done paintings like that. All right. So for some reason I'm on this kick with mountains, same color of the sky, blah blah blah, atmospheric stuff. I don't know why, but I am. But once I'm done with it, I'm done. And I'll get back to painting flowers or something. I think I did a couple of those too. So who knows what I'll do next. But thank you very much, guys, for hanging out with me. Enjoy the rest of, well, here in the States, enjoy your holiday, the rest of the holiday. All others, enjoy the rest of your evening, because I know it's pretty late for some of you. And thank you, Mary, I appreciate it. Our Hearts with Arts, thank you very much. So, okay, the passion for art, and you have a very nice setup. Everything seems to work well. Remember to take yourself off mute so you don't scare people half to death like me. Okay, that's a story within itself. That was something else. Cause my phone was like on maximum high, and you, boy, that was something else. But after my heart got done palpitating, everything was cool. So, Oh, really? Sonia, as long as you're home, everything is all well. Okay. So I'm pretty sure, did you ever, I have to scroll back and see if you ever went to any of Diana's. Oh no, she must not. Well, you told her you go on at 1 p.m., but you didn't tell her the day. Pittsburgh. I believe it's what, Wednesday? Tuesday or Wednesday? Passion for art, not passion for art, but where is she? Oh, Our Hearts with Arts. Yeah, I know you didn't want to go home, but you know, it's that little thing called bills. Let's see here. I gotta remember your name, Our Hearts with Arts. And I'll see what you're up to there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am out. Take care. Jessica, make sure nobody slides down the lanes. Those bowling pins are pretty lethal. All right, guys, I shall see you when I see you. Take care. Oh, you guys know the deal. Thumbnail, it'll be posted on Instagram, it'll be posted on Facebook and all that stuff, but it's completely dry. So I'll take a picture of it, varnish it, and then that's that. Anybody ever interested in any of my works, all you gotta do really is either email me or message me on Messenger. Oh, okay, because I read it and I didn't see. You said you were on for at 1 o'clock, but I didn't know if you if she knew if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. All right, you have a good night. It matters. Oh, it is tomorrow. Okay, Tuesday. All right, and you're right. You're right. I was probably into my own little painting planet. Arabella. All right, Arabella. Oh, okay, RV. Oh man, I should have just made a nice. Oh no, this is the wrong weather to make her go at it with the camera. Yeah, this is not that type of weather for that. Okay, gotcha. Well, I hope all goes well with it. All right. Okay, guys, I gotta take the four-legged walrus out for a walk. I gotta get all that going here. Oh, you're in the healing process. I understand that too. Trust me, I do. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And I'll see you. Bye-bye.